Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So this reading is huge. It's huge. So it's going to take a moment for me to really compile the picture of who this reading is for. So don't dismiss it right away. If you hear the first few cards and you're like, that's not my reading, don't dismiss it right away. It's going to take a little time to actually explain what's going on here as I work through these cards. Channel members, your next Major Arcana series video will be posted tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. I'm shooting for tomorrow evening. If it happens in the afternoon, great, but definitely check back then. If you are interested in the Major Arcana series, if you want to learn a little bit more about the Major Arcana than maybe what's available in books or what's online, then definitely check that out. If you are interested in a personal reading, as of the time that I'm recording this, there are 5 more listed at the Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description box. So definitely snag one if you can, and good luck. Okay, let's go ahead, let's get into this. So I had to lay it all out in order to see what's actually taking place here, because there's a lot going on here. Most of my messages are meant as confirmation, and maybe this will confirm something for somebody, but this feels more like instruction. It feels a little bit more like it's telling somebody who finds himself in this situation I'm about to cover how to undo that situation. The problem with it is that this is energy that is so deep and subtle that someone's going to have to sit with it for a little while to really realize if it's them, unless you're somebody who's really good at paying attention to your own behaviors, your own thoughts that are kind of underneath the surface, right? So first off, I want to talk about this card. This is Star Gathering, stars aligned, remembering home and soul family. Someone's trying to call this in. And I feel that for some of you, you have been calling this in for a very long time. You might meet people, you might think, oh, these are these people, and then there's like a disappointment, right? You start realizing that that's not who these people are. Some of you, it's just a person that you're trying to call in. It feels very much like a job. It feels like a mission, something that we feel like we're supposed to do. It feels like what we feel we were designed for, or our purpose. And you are getting confirmation of that here with this card here, Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes, right? This seems to be someone's path to ascension taking place here, because we have that triangle there above her head, and that is the triangle of return. That's what I call it anyway. It's where the densest energies become the highest vibration. And this seems to be an attempt to return someplace. So maybe it is through some sort of function that we're fulfilling here and completing something so that we can return. For some of you, this is simply a remembering so that we can return. And there seems to be other people that need to be involved in this, whether that's true or that's perceptive. I'm not concerned with that. I'm just bringing forward this sort of message about what's hindering us, because that seems to be wanting to get addressed here. Okay, so I'm going to have some pauses. Please forgive me, because I am tuned into something that is a little bit of a different energy here. So one of the things that's taking place here is there's something that's not aligned within us. The next card they're telling me to take is this one, Align Your Life. What is not aligned or needs to change. And at first glance, some of you, because you have done so much work on yourselves, you may think, what could that possibly be? I feel happy all the time. I feel super positive all the time. When things go wrong, I don't let it, throw me off. Some of you have really worked on your sort of emotional and spiritual stability. The thing that's going on here is this, and I'm going to start going into some of this imagery rather than the meanings of the cards. Here we have Temple of Truth, Throat Chakra, Authenticity, Self-Expression. I feel that that's half of what's going on. What's actually going on is this. We have these 2 pillars here. These pillars are covered by feathers, and they're releasing this water. In this case, water really represents energy. It represents that creative force, right? This is the way the ancient people always talked about water. They called water the mother of creation. And so there's something here that we are creating because we're in 2 halves. So there's a disparaging energy taking place here. What this seems to be is there seems to be the thing that we're trying to call in, and then how we typically exist or feel. So for example, bear with me while I run through this. I'm going to give examples from other areas of life that may not necessarily pertain to this, okay? You may find that this is pertaining to things that you're trying to bring in. So for example, if you're trying to call in the love of your life, and you envision it a certain way, what this message is essentially saying is that this certain way that you're envisioning it wouldn't actually fit who you are. So you might be a person who's extremely independent and you really need a lot of alone time and you can't have somebody always in your space. There's a difference between this and what we're trying to call in. Someone here, what you're trying to call in when you envision it, you're envisioning a lot of ideas or a lot of fantasies or a lot of like wishful thinking rather than the reality of who you are and your authenticity. So these two things can be merged into a whole. That's what I'm seeing here. So again, I'm being told to give another example. So for example, if a person wants a child, right, and they haven't had a child, are you the kind of person that and again, if it's not your story, it's not your story. It's just I'm giving examples of what they're trying to talk about. If you're the kind of person who you have a hard time giving emotional energy to something constantly, like if you're like me and you have pets and you like need to get away from your pets because it's just too much sometimes, or you just need a lot of alone time, how would you handle having a child, right? How would you support the emotional needs of another person if you're not able to emotionally or psychologically handle that, right? So it's something like that. Like the thing that we're trying to call in, the way that it looks in our mind is not the same thing that we actually want. And so there's something that can be come up with here, like it's like a middle ground that we can come up with to bring these two things together, and rather than existing in trying to manifest something that isn't actually aligned to us, right? So that might, for the example of the child, it might look like a family situation where you're not the only person constantly taking care of a child. It might be, in the love situation, it might be finding a partner who's just as independent as you are, and being able to relegate any spaces within yourself that doesn't like that sort of thing from another person. It's something like that, right? Except in the terms of this star gathering soul family. And who knows, maybe that is what you're trying to call in, and that is the soul family that you're trying to call in. But I'm just giving those as examples because I think those are examples that are very easy for people to understand. When we can come up with what it is that we actually want, these two things come together, and then what they create is this fine stream. Right now, what we have is we have this dispersal of energy taking place between these two things. So it's like things are getting called to us willy-nilly. They kind of look right, but they're not quite right, things like that. And I'm seeing this right here, these two things creating this being these two aspects coming together here, and that's where we have our eyes, we have our clarity, and we have our sharp focus to create what it is that we want. We see this dynamic energy entering in. I will read this card in case it's important for somebody. This says Arcturian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power, and future thinking. This is from the activation of light Gateway of Light Activation Oracle. So I know somebody's going to ask me, so that's why I'm saying it. Now, I do want to focus on this. This almost looks like this amazing, it almost looks like a person with their arms out, but it also almost looks like this phoenix, right, with these wings. There's something about Isis that's coming through in this as well for me, so that might be important for somebody. Also, the Egyptian god Thoth. Now, here's the interesting thing about this, right? So there's what we're trying to manifest, there's what we're trying to call in, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But the person that I'm speaking to, this feels very... I once had a spirit say something to me about where you're from, you are like a god. And that's what this is throwing at me. This is a very royal, kings and queens, like rulers of some cosmics. Like, I'm serious. Like, this is big energy. And that's why I had to lay everything out, because I wasn't able to see it clearly when I was just laying card by card in my first couple takes of this reading. Someone here, it's like our soul signature, and the people that we're trying to call in, it's like a higher caliber of vibration. I don't know how else to put that. It's like okay, I want to draw you to this, so this is why I'm going to say this here. So we have, you've been training for this for lifetimes, and we have the fawn. Now, whenever I see this card in terms of like starseed material, this always speaks to me of this sort of being that a lot of people encounter that looks almost like a deer or like a cosmic buffalo. When we get into that energy, one of the things that I'm talking about is I'm talking about rulers, right? So kings, queens, emperors, empresses. It's that sort of energy. But if you look, it also looks like two people falling to this little point here. This is where a grand mission was taken by somebody of high spiritual evolution to come to Earth or to be incarnated for some reason. For some of you, it wasn't a mission that was taken willfully. I will say that. For some of you, that's not the case. For most of you, though, it does feel like it is. And this feels very important. It's important for someone to understand why they came, right? In order to be able to activate this soul tribe, because for some of you, you have to know what you're doing in order to understand who you're attracting, right? There's other beings, other people that may be part of your same frequency who are not on the same path. So that's very much being highlighted to me. I keep having a phrase roll through my head. Shout out to Zachary at the Divine Phoenix Tarot Rising. Let's see. I want to see something here. What was the name of his video? He had a video. Okay, I'm gonna plug another reader here real fast, because I almost feel like something in this, I don't know why I always, Zachary, my apologies, I don't know why I always say your channel wrong. It's Divine Phoenix Rising Tarot. I'm going to link him in my description box. He had a video, and this video may resonate for you because I just keep getting the phrase over and over in my head as I'm doing this reading. It was a video about you are galactic royalty, and I'm going to link that video down in the description box on his channel if you guys are interested in watching that. But that's what this is giving me here. It's like, I can't even express I can't even express this energy. I just can't. So that's why I keep like stopping, because this is such a big, massive energy here. Big mission. Like that's it, big mission, but big magic. That's how this is striking me right now. So whoever this message is for, you probably have a lot of experiences. You probably have off the hook dreams. There is something here that's coming through that what is blocking us is this, right? So these are how these three cards landed. They landed just like this. So what we have under this Temple of Truth, where we see those two sides that are creating something very scattered, we have the Hobia. And part of what may be causing this this divide between ourselves and this thing that we're trying to manifest, there seems to be some sort of false fear. Some of you may feel a rush. Some of you may be afraid of like missing out, for example. That may be an energy that a lot of you are experiencing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 as I looked up when I said that. For some of you, however, this hobby is just saying that this dispersal of energy is what's keeping things stuck. There is this sort of undressing of a salad on the bottom here, if you want to see that card, where things need to be analyzed. Different emotions, different things that we like, different things we don't like have to be analyzed in order for us to understand exactly the clear picture that we need to bring this desire into alignment with. In other words, we're trying to call in the wrong thing. We're trying to call in something that isn't necessarily right for us. What we want is right for us, right? But the way that it looks in our head may not be right for us. So we have to come up with the actual situation, the actual storyline, the actual picture of what would be right for us in order for that to lock in there, right? And this is what the feline is saying. When we see the feline, this is clearing up loose ends. There's some loose ends in this thing that we're trying to call in, these people that we're trying to call in, what that looks like, our idea of it. If we're trying to call in soul family, where we're together all the time, but you're the kind of person who you don't have the energy to give people all the time, that's going to be a problem, right? Or if you want people who are super authentic and super honest, but you have a hard time, this is what's going to require some serious honesty on some of your parts. You may have a hard time always standing up for yourself, or being super authentic, or always being honest about the way that you think or the things that you've done. Or, you know, if you do something wrong, you have a hard time admitting it to people, things like that. These are energies that we have to clear up in order to get this thing that we're trying to manifest to lock in. Some of it may be bringing this thing that we want closer to the actual version of us. Some of it may be evolving ourselves to fit this thing that we want to have. So, you know, you're going to have to decide which one you are. here, this is what I'm going to leave you with. We have Lemuria creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So this is a slow process, but it is actually happening. You're in the process right now of learning these things. We have Starseed, what lights you up. This is about discovering that authenticity, what it is that we're actually passionate about, not things. We're not trying to call something in that's going to take from us, right? That's going to take too much energy. That's going to take too much time. That's going to diminish our light in some way because we think that that's what it's supposed to look like, right? Don't dim to fit in. You know, some of you may be trying to manifest things that fit the narrative that you commonly hear, like, oh, we're supposed to uplift humanity, but that's not maybe deep inside what you actually want to do. Maybe deep inside what you want to do is you want to be a creator and you want to create beautiful things. Then make sure that the people you're trying to call in want to create beautiful things too, right? Don't dim who you are to fit in, whether it's with society, whether it's with popular spirituality, whether it's with ideas that you think that you're supposed to have, right? What we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be figuring out what this code inside of us actually is, what it looks like, who we really are, what we really want, what we really find valuable. Not from an intellectual space, but from a feeling space, right? What do we actually value? What do we actually cherish? What do we actually want? What do we want our life to really look like? If we had everything available to us that we possibly could have, what is it that we would want? This is what you're being asked to look at here. For whoever it is who hasn't quite found this sort of soul family locking in and gathering just yet. So I do want to pull some more cards here. They're telling me to pull cards here. Ooh. Okay, so for some of you, there is something here, learning from the past. Remember, elephants don't forget. So it's about remembering. I don't know if that's actually true, but this is about remembering. Again, some of you, there's something going on here about remembering where you're from and what it is that you're doing so that you can call in people who are doing the same thing. Because right now we may not be remembering that. Part of remembering that is really going inside and figuring out what you're passionate about. If it's been given to you and it is something that you accepted, you're going to have that burning inside of you somewhere. So definitely get in touch with yourself, understand what it is that you really want. Here we have Eagle Spirit. Spirit has your back. One of the reasons why this message is coming through is because you seem to have a guide who is trying to rally the troops, who is trying to support you in this endeavor. So don't forget, you're not alone. Spirit does have your back. And the last card here is Scarab Beetle. Magic works through you. Again, this is a big mission, and with the big mission comes big magic. So some of you, you know, you're seeing synchronicities left and right. You have deja vu left and right. You have that feeling, that urge to accomplish something, to call people in. These are all parts of you, right? These are all aspects of you. You have these urges for a reason. You have these feelings for a reason. Now you just have to figure out deep inside of yourself, right? Not looking externally, not looking for answers elsewhere. What lights you up? What is it that you're passionate about? Some of you already know. Some of you already know what you feel your purpose is. It's just a matter of making sure that the thing you're calling in is aligning you, right? That you're in alignment with it. Because there's some things that maybe we've overlooked in terms of our own needs and our own desires and what we need something to look like. So whoever this message is for, good luck. I wish you the best. And if it resonated for you, please hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.